Hold a moment. I have an idea. If memory serves, that colossal wall-like structure is Logisticon Beta, one of Labyrintho's climate control centers. It should have its own lifts, with which one could access the upper or lower tiers. If I were an agent of the Forum, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Arenville in the company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Hippity hop, my little toads. Ah! Goodness. Unaccustomed to transfiguration, were we not, it will wear off with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Arenville. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me and I will refresh the enchantment. And what am I to do in the meantime? Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you'd be as like to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn anything of note. Which reminds me, where are the creatures hereabouts? In that form, you are essentially defenseless. You have changed it to a toad! You must remain transfigured in order to progress with quest objectives. You return to your transfigured state if you move too far away. Look to your map for the map for the transfiguration's area of effect. Use your Shola to restore or prolong the transfiguration. Would have enjoyed being a toad for a little while, only with the change of pace. But your Stola's right. I'm too preoccupied with other matters. Oh, it lasts for 30 minutes. Alpha Toad and Alley Toad are now accompanying you. Keep them at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. Oh god. Ribbit.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
Quickly, hop out of the way. Scatter!
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full. While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
They don't have frogs in this area. They have toads.
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
Why would you rip it at him? Come on, man. Welcome back. I trust you found Aaronville then. Seems that they're preparing for some sort of momentous duty. Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. Share this with Krile, and then discuss how we'd like to proceed, so we can find her back at the farm. She's still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was so entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas, just in case she decided to wander.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead.
Okay.
Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on this ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower, walk free, for you are free, to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow.
How's that
Together,
supposed to fucking mean?
raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
I'll do my best. Whatever the hell it means.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out.
Ah, so it wasn't just Heidelin talking to you,
Even
but not
with
me.
my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first. So weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread, imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious. We've done nothing wrong.
Hey! It's Falchion out.
Master Fortuno? What
Yeah, that
business
one,
has the
Fortuno.
Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
But we suppress
Mistress
nobody.
Baldessian,
Just
our
kinda,
records
you
show
know.
you facilitated the Silence
Honestly, we
entrance
were
into
more
Sharlayan
fucking
by claiming them as
espionage.
assistants for your organization.
Well, yes.
We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our
That's a
only
stretch, my
purpose
man.
in this city is to seek the truth.
We're technically not students of
I can think of
Baldessian.
no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact.
Yeah, whatever, man.
With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What then is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Grah! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
What do you mean? He's a fucking Archon!
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
No! I refuse! There's still side quests to do back in the burial.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse.
Well, it's okay, I guess.
But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
Wait! My side quests! Oh, we're already here. It just teleports us here. Here we are in court. All rise. Court is now in session. Oh shit, Krile's forced to pull her hood down.
Forgive me. I was careless.
Now you
We
good?
would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together.
You an Archon anyhow. Fucking, you should have been allowed down there.
I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings.
Your Honor.
Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
Please and thank you. I would like to know.
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work.
Objection? We're not interfering. We're just wondering what your work is.
They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Hello, we are here. We are here to bring on the Seventh
These
Dawn.
militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large.
Alright, the way you said that, it's a bit leading, alright?
Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
Cute, cute.
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Ah, you shut the fuck up. It's not like you're doing anything with the students.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
Why don't you just fucking tell us, alright?
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
I did a bit of investigation herself down
From the
below.
mouth of a forum member within fortuitous earshot.
My glasses are gone. I don't look as smart anymore.
Then it seems your findings support my own.
Good. What is momentous duty then, Graha?
The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policy-making process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was
That's right,
knowledge
everybody shut the
preserved
fuck
for the
up.
benefit of society.
Best boy is talking.
Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge.
Like a time capsule?
The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives.
Wait.
Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea.
Was it?
You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Ethereal sea.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
That's right, shut the fuck up. You don't want to reveal state secrets to us, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, do you?
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore.
Just tell us. Alright, I ain't gonna spill. I'm a good secret keeper, alright?
Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuner, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me.
Man, dude, are involved.
So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Oh shit.
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Thank God for that. I didn't know how to say his fucking name. Monteshane?
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand,
Do you not understand? This is the whole point of the assembly. To debate
By
this.
their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same.
What the fuck?
Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, Then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Thanks, buddy.
Order! We will have order! Master Montaigne raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates.
I mean, you can try to stop me all
Let's
you
put this judgment
want.
to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
Wow. Very split.
I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed.
Damn. Very
Students,
split.
Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
Understandable. We shall no longer do
Honored members,
investigations.
I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
Ha! I like how one of the Vieira stood up and it's all like, it was very apparent they can't wear the hat. Oh, I apologize for the trouble I've caused you. I was pondering the significance of what I just read as I left the restricted section. I knocked over the security mammoth on my way out. I promise to be more vigilant next time. Of course you did, Draha. Of course you did.
Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
Absolutely. How about we start at the beginning? There's Gaius Van Baelsar. And then he turned into a pickle. Funniest shit I've ever seen.
When you mentioned gift,
Alright, made it back. I'm here. Oh, I'm so glad you're unharmed. You're all safe now. Come on, let's go home, sweetie. And buffoon. Arr. The Archaeon is under threat. I must do something. Arr. What is this threat? Ah? You can understand me? Mm-hmm. Wait, are you able to communicate with him? Yeah. Using the power of the echo, I think. Incredible. I've never met someone with such a skill before. This bundle of joy was born in Labyrinthos. However, he was abandoned by his mother and in quite the state by the time we found him. He possesses remarkable intelligence for one of his kind. We've elected to use him as part of a study into the effects of growing up in an artificial environment. I'd seen him making gestures that he indicated he'd been reading the tomes here, but I thought he was just copying those around him. I think he actually understands speech. Though, I do wonder exactly why you are able to understand him and I am not. I'm sort of special. Really? Oh, what I wouldn't give to understand him too. You possess the echo, don't you? I find it difficult the way you do. But I suppose it makes sense that you understand my general sentiments. I happened to learn of said power from the tomes in the Archaeon. Honestly, that buffoon over there is surrounded by a sea of knowledge, and he makes no effort to engage with them. At any rate, I'm glad to finally have someone to talk to. As I was saying earlier, the Archaeon is in grave danger. Some garrulous gleaner managed to bring woodworms in with them during a visit. If we leave them be, they're bound to cause irreparable damage to the materials at the facility. I tried my best to tell that buffoon, but it was no use. That's why I took a chance and went in search of some of my own kind to see if they would help. Which is how that turned out. Well, what was he saying? Someone brought in woodworms, and apparently now they risk all the different materials there at the Archaeon. Oh, dearie me. Still, it was most courageous of him to try and solve the issue on his own. Now that we're aware of it, we need to sort out this press problem at once. Would you mind helping out a little longer? You're the only one who can understand him after all. He seems mom's ahead of us with regard to the situation at hand. Count on me. I recently acquired texts from their homeland that go into some detail about their agriculture. Did you know they mix bat droppings into the soil to make it more fertile? Quite ingenious. The land they live in is quite temperate, and it is written that after 100 summers, the droppings solidify to something resembling stone, further concentrating the nutrients contained within. Of course, the samples you provided me today are far too ripe to be of their own, to be of much use on their own. However, what is the purpose of research if not to free us from the bonds of this natural world? I said bonds, bounds of this natural world. What's that? Of course, I'm sure I said the droppings resemble mud, didn't I? Regardless, I aim to speed up the ripening process, creating in days what takes nature centuries to accomplish. If I succeed, farmers across the realm will rejoice, and they will have you to thank for it. Bat guano. Damn quest already told me it's not mud. It's not mud. Since there has been progress in both investigations, shall we share the findings from our respective locales? Nod. Cutscene time. Oops.
Your time in Thafnir has certainly been eventful. In my opinion, carrying out Vitra's request and assaulting the Tower of Zot should be our highest priority.
I agree. While I still have questions concerning the Forum and their grand undertaking, we have all but exhausted our avenues of investigation. Simply pressing them any harder on the subject will almost certainly result in our expulsion. Therefore, I suggest we explore the ethereal sea connection by way of a letter to Master Matoya, then make our way to Thafnir.
I wonder, even with the protection these talismans afford us, what can we hope to achieve once inside the tower? According to Orenvold and Fodola's report, they were unable to free the Emolja. Worse, their attempts triggered the tower's defenses, which led to a summoning of Luna Afrit.
What does it tell us that the Spires even have such defenses? Simply pulling a prisoner from the wall is fatal, thus the direct approach is doomed to failure from the outset. Any further measures to dissuade such actions seem unnecessary. Unless, of course, there is a way to free the prisoners without killing them. Then it stands to reason that any intruders would be met with overwhelming force.
The towers appeared throughout the world in but the twinkling of an eye. 'Twas by magical means these structures were raised, I surmise. A spire thus conjured must needs be maintained, and I suspect an arcane catalyst, some manner of core, doth lie hidden within. Destroy the core, and the tower ceaseth to be, thus liberating the captives without harm.
So we can hope. And I would prefer to enter the tower with a working theory than with no plan at all.
Assuming Ishtola's reasoning is correct, the chances of the defenses remaining dormant are small to none. Any primals will have to be dealt with, and defeating one will likely only lead to the summoning of another. Our every victory will only compound the prisoner's suffering.
May we not then divide our forces? Those proficient in healing will focus on sustaining the captives. That duty can be covered by Urianger, Krile, Yostola, and myself. The remaining Scions will proceed with the search for the core. Admittedly, this strategy puts both parties at greater risk, but it should bolster our chances of saving the Arcosodra by a considerable margin.
Oh god, I have to choose? Are you sure Alphino's in the right group?
If you're to fight primals, then you'd best have at least one healer with you.
And I am more than happy to fulfill that role. I found wielding a sage's armament to be rather intuitive, and look forward to testing them against a more challenging foe.
It seems we have a plan. All that remains is to carry it out. I will inform Rads at Han of our movements, so let us make our preparations and regroup near the tower.
The military post in what's left of the Hamsa hatchery should serve as a convenient staging point.
That sounds perfect. And remember, the experimental aetherite at the confluence is there for those who need it, so there's no excuse for being late.
Oh god.